All right, now we're going to move on to the bottom or the second line of our CYU. Here we are going to take a look at a generic rectangle puzzle and fill in the missing information, and then use that information to write a multiplication sentence using parentheses. So I know that I'm going to need a number here, a number here, a number here, and a number here. So I'm going to look for a place where I have two numbers that I could use to find a missing number. So I have a number here and a number here. So I'm going to ask myself, 2 times what equals 4? And 2 times 2 equals 4. So this number is going to come up here. Now I can use this number and this number to find this one. And I'm going to ask myself, what times 2 equals 40? And 20 times 2 equals 40. Now I have two numbers here to get this one. And we have 10 times 20. So I have my two zeros. And then I multiply 2 and 1, which is 200. And then down here, I have 10 times 2, which is 20. So now I am going to use my information from here to write a multiplication sentence. So if I take a look at what I did here, we have the top number multiplied by the bottom number. And this one is a little bit different because we have two numbers. So we could put those together and do 10 plus 2 is 12 times 20 plus 2. Or we could also write it like this, 10 plus 2 times 20 plus 2. Either one of those would work for this question. All right, over here, we have some spaces where we are going to need some information. This right here is where I have two numbers, so I can ask myself, what times 30 would equal 1,500? So I have one zero here, so I know I'm going to need another zero here. And then I can say, what times 3 equals 15? And that is 5. So up here we have 50. Then I could use this number and this number. So we would have what times 50 would equal 250. I have my zeros here, so I'm going to cross them off. And then I asked myself, 5 times what equals 25, which is 5. So my missing number here is 5. All right, here, now that I have all my numbers, I can figure out these boxes. So we have 30 times 4, which is we have a 0, and then 12. So we have 120. And then here we have 4 times 5, which is 20. Now we need to write that multiplication sentence with parentheses. So again, I can take this number, which is either 54, or I could write it all out, 50 plus 4, times this number, which could be 30 plus 5 here. And again, times 30 plus 5. So either of those would work depending on how you want to look at the area model. All right, our final one over here, we have an even larger area model. So let's look to see where we have two numbers that we could use to find some missing numbers. So I have a number here and a number here to find this number. So we have 40 times what would equal 2,400. I'm going to cross off a 0 because I have that in here. So I know I have 1 0 here. And then I'm going to say 4 times what equals 24, and that would be 6. So 60 times 40 would equal 2,400. Now I have two numbers here. So I'm going to say what times 7 would equal 56, and that is 8. Now that I have this, I can start filling in some of these missing boxes. So we have 60 times 8, which we have a 0 here, and then we just need 6 times 8, which is 48. So we have 480. I can use these 40 and 7, which we have a 0, and then 4 times 7 is 28, so we have 280. And then we can use these numbers to find that missing number. So we say what times 8 would equal 1600. I have 2 zeros, no zeros here, so I know that we're going to have 2 zeros in that number. And then I ask myself what times 8 equals 16, and that is 2. So our missing number up here is 200. Then we can use that to find this missing number by doing 200 times 40, which we have 3 zeros, and then 4 times 2 is 8. So we have 8,000. All right, so in keeping with what we've been thinking about here, we are going to put these together. So we can either do 267 times something, or we can take all of these in a parentheses and do 200 plus 60 plus 7. And then we'll take this 40 plus 8 and 40 plus 8. So either of those, again, would work for that answer for a multiplication sentence using parentheses.